Hey everyone, today I'm going to share my experience on the oral contraceptive called low estrogen 24FE. Just a disclaimer to start, there are many different types of reviews coming from women who have tried this pill. Not all are horror stories. Keep in mind that this is my own story, that every woman's body may react differently. This pill has been discontinued and now replaced with a similar product called Minastrine 24FE. And it's in a chewable form also. Does it mean that if you try this, you'll have an experience like mine or worse? You could, or you could be fine on it. Either way, I recommend exploring safer and healthier ways, as even with no side effects, it could cause scary problems down the line if you are on it long term. I am not a doctor, though I do have some experience with medical school. I'm a certified medical assistant. I gained all my information through research and my own experiences. I'm speaking just to tell you my story and warn young girls, but not to tell you what to do. Now that we have that out of the way, I'll give you a little intro about hormone-based contraception. This birth control method takes on a few different forms: pills, patches, rings, just to name some. Jumping back to the time that I went on the pill, I didn't really know much about the health risks. I was mainly worried about getting nauseous on it or gaining weight, and to be honest, I just thought it was the responsible thing to do at the time, and that it might help my menstrual cramps and acne, one of the many glorifications of this product. There are many health risks that are attributed to hormone-based contraception, such as cancer, heart attacks, and stroke. These are kind of common things that you hear about before going on birth control. Whenever we add a synthetic hormone to our body, a serious imbalance tends to occur. And these chemicals disturb the hormonal system in women and have resulted in breast and cervical cancers, heart attack and stroke, high blood pressure, gallbladder disease, low bone density, blood clots in the legs, lungs, and heart, ectopic pregnancies, insulin resistance, and these are only a few harmful results that have been recorded, but there are more. I will link 2 articles from my favorite website below. They both tell you more details about the risks, and they go into brand specifics and give natural contraception methods other than knowing when you're ovulating. It's pretty cool. Okay, so on to my story. As of this date, I'm a little over 21 years old, and this all happened when I had just turned 18. I had tried one other birth control pill before low estrogen, and that only lasted a few days because it made me feel really nauseous, and I went right off of it without giving it more of a chance. I don't remember the brand name, but it may have been some kind of generic brand that they give out at Planned Parenthood. I just don't remember. So my doctor at the time put me on Loestrin, telling me that it was great for girls just starting the pill. It was a low-dose hormone kind of pill, so I took it. One of the first things I remembered was feeling nauseous, of course, but this time I pushed through it, thinking that I would get past it and my body would adjust. After a few days, I noticed my moods were absolutely off the wall. I was basically manic one minute and depressed another minute. I remember crying hysterically, throwing myself onto the floor because we didn't have bread in the house or something like that. So I screamed at my sister, then laughed right after. I became really, really detached and kept saying that I really didn't feel like myself. Driving on the road didn't feel real. I had to shake my head to make sure I was focused because I felt out of my body and out of my mind. On top of all this, I had horrible acne breakouts, opposite to what I had thought that it would do. I went to work at a daycare that I was working at that time, and I was looking after probably up to 12 children some days. So it was a pretty hectic job, and I told my boss I felt really weird. I felt jumpy, I felt on edge, and had these huge adrenaline rushes for no reason. My chest felt tight, I felt dizzy. I had no idea what the feeling was, but I later found out that it was the feeling of intense anxiety, which did not go away after I stopped taking the pill. Just to say, anxiety is hereditary for me, but had always been so mild. Little things like getting nervous before a long trip and other mild disturbances were present before the pill, but never this extreme rush of panic that kept bugging me throughout the day. Little did I know, it was about to get a lot worse. Now this is almost a week into taking the pill. I went to New York City to see a band play with my guy friend. I ate a balanced meal, was well hydrated, but midway through the show I lost consciousness for no reason. This still brings back terrible anxiety for me. It's kind of hard to talk about, but I kept going in and out, seeing just a small spotlight of vision when I had lost consciousness. So I kind of went in and out of consciousness a couple times. My friend was so helpful and kind. He helped me get water, and he helped me get out a couple of bouncers, or I thought they were bouncers, just guys that were strong, I think. I couldn't see. I had like tunnel vision kind of thing, and I just was being carried outside by bouncers and my friend. I got outside, my friend helped calm me down. I was very shook up, very anxious and scared. It's scary thing for me. We went back in eventually and watched more of the show in the seats, and then we left. I got shook up with nerves the whole train ride home, but I got home safe. And after that, I stopped taking the pill. But that's not it. Next night, I woke up every 2 seconds with horrible night terrors, sweating like crazy all night long. I tried to eat really healthy the following day, thinking healthy eating would help my body feel better, as I was beginning to realize that it was indeed the birth control that created a lot of negative effects for me. I remember sitting in my living room with my mom eating green beans and almonds. I was just sitting in an armchair, and then all of a sudden my chest started feeling a little bit tight. And at each minute, it just began to feel tighter and tighter and tighter. And I tried to play it cool, but eventually I mentioned it to my mom, said my chest feels really tight. Soon I was clutching my chest. I was seriously feeling like I couldn't even get a full breath in or out. The breaths were just so short. That's all I was saying, is my breaths are so short. No matter how hard I tried, it just felt like I was gonna die. Basically. It felt like I was having a heart attack. My mom too had thought that there was something wrong with my heart, so she rushed me to the emergency room, and on the way there and while I was being examined, my jaw was completely locked and my breaths were so very short. I was taking them through clenched teeth. Like that. It was just so bad. My jaw and face almost felt numb, but I couldn't stop it for some reason. I was shaking like a fish. I had no idea why they weren't rushing me into a room right away, and when I kind of realized that, I was getting more and more nervous. I was like, why aren't they acting like this is serious? I'm going to die over here. That's just my thoughts at the time. And they checked my blood and my heart through an EKG, and everything was okay. They released me with a paper saying that I had a drug reaction. They told me to stop taking the pill immediately. I told them I had already stopped a day or two beforehand, so they responded back saying it should be out of my system soon. I will never know if the ovarian cysts, the extremely painful ovulation, paralyzing cramps that I started getting after were caused by low estrogen, or were just going to kick in whether or not I took the pill. But I will say something. I have never been the same. The months following were pretty dark, confusing, and absolutely terrifying. I don't know for sure if it was lingering effects of the drug, or because the drug introduced my mind to my first real major panic attack, that my brain latched on remembering the feeling, and it started to kind of manifest into my generalized anxiety disorder and my panic disorder. I remember not knowing what was happening to me, but suddenly feeling complete doom out of nowhere. You'll never know until you feel it, what it feels like. Think about experiences where you would be normal to feel like that, it would be normal to feel like that. Car crashes, if you're falling out of a building, stories and stories high, looking at the ground. That's how I felt throughout the day, just getting waves of it in my daily routine, and it was very hard to shake. I felt like the world was ending. I was dying, and every sad, angry, scared emotion wiped over me at any given time, and I had to leave early when I went to lots of places with my friends. I started getting really upset. I got upset stomachs a lot also. Just generally just not feeling well. The more that I had these attacks in certain places, the more hesitant I became to go back to those same places in fear of having the same feelings. My hormones are whacked out now. I have generalized anxiety, panic, seasonal affective disorder, but I've learned many ways to help cope with the struggle. Once you have the knowledge of what's going on in your brain chemical-wise, what's going on in your body, why it's happening to you, you have a little bit of power, even though it feels like in the moment you don't have power. You do. You have the knowledge, and each time you could get stronger and stronger as long as you are trying. I am in no way directly blaming the pill for any of this, just opening my mind to the possibilities. Could it have caused these by introducing my brain to panic attacks induced by the hormonal contraceptive? Yes, I think so. On the flip side, it could have just been my time for the hereditary disorders to kick in. I talked to doctors about it, the one who prescribed the pill for me, and a new one too, and they got very defensive and told me it was not the pill and basically tried to bash the real stories that other women had written online. In conclusion, I strongly am against taking hormonal contraceptives. and believe in healthy, safer alternatives. How about you? Let me know if you had a similar experience with hormonal birth control. Inbox me them if you would like, and I'd love to hear from you. If you have any further questions or video requests, please feel free to message or comment too. Also, thumbs up this video if you found it interesting or helpful. Do not forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye! Estrin 24FE. What's that? The burps, man. No, don't go away. I was mainly take 5. Insulin resist. Hello. Excuse me. Take 2. Read a message, comment, or tell me somewhere else.